Hey guys, what's up? It's Emma, and today I want to do something a little bit different. If you guys didn't already know, I am into psychology. I don't take any psychology classes, like into college or anything, but I have read up on it in my own time, and I also did a presentation on the epic poem Beowulf, I think my junior year of high school, where I talked about the psychology behind it. And that's what I want to share with you guys today, because I did get a lot of praise for this presentation. I guess I covered things that other students hadn't covered in a very long time. With this, they pretty much just skimmed the surface of it. But since I'm very much into psychology, I delved way down that fucking rabbit hole. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is a brief explanation of the id. The id contains our primitive drives and operates largely according to the pleasure principle, whereby its two main goals are the seeking of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. It has no real perception of reality and seeks to satisfy its needs through what Freud called the primary processes that dominate the existence of infants, including hunger and self-protection. The energy for the id's actions comes from libido, which is the energy storehouse. The id has two major instincts: eros, the instinct that motivates people to focus on pleasure-seeking tendencies, and thanatos, the death instinct that motivates people to use aggressive urges to destroy. In the epic poem Beowulf, the id is represented by Grendel. King Hrothgar builds a mead hall, Hera, for his warriors. Loud noises from the mead hall greatly bother Grendel, so he terrorizes the hall and kills Hrothgar's warriors. This goes on for a while until Beowulf hears of it and battles Grendel, resulting in the death of Grendel. Beowulf and Grendel both seem to be controlled by the id aspect of the personality in this section of the poem. Beowulf feels he needs to battle an unconquerable enemy so that he can prove himself great. Grendel, however, is bothered by something and has the ability to reduce the source of it. This battle represents youthful ambition, wayward haphazardness, and immature overconfidence in seeking out adventure, which could have had terrible consequences. Next is the ego, which is represented by Grendel's mother. Unlike the id, the ego is aware of reality and operates via the reality principle, whereby it recognizes what's real and understands that behaviors have consequences. This includes the effects of social rules that are necessary in order to live and socialize with other people. It uses secondary processes such as perception, recognition, judgment, and memory. The dilemma of the ego is that it has to balance the demands of the id and the superego with the constraints of reality. The ego controls higher mental processes such as reasoning and problem solving, which it uses to solve the id-superego dilemma. Beowulf is psychologically growing. He defeated his immature, compulsive counter-id, but now has to face the consequence, Grendel's mother. Beowulf takes her on, using reasoning and problem-solving skills. He's almost defeated by her, but his perception is sharp, and he kills her with a sword he finds. This fight was the consequence of the battle with Grendel. Beowulf's maturity was shown, appealing to the carelessness of youth. Last but not least is the superego, which is represented by the dragon. Beowulf becomes king and rules for 50 years. A thief breaks into a dragon's lair filled with treasure and steals some. Enraged, the dragon terrorizes the Geats. Beowulf takes an army with him to battle the dragon, but the army runs away once they get there, leaving Beowulf and his friend Wiglaf to battle with each other. They kill the dragon, but Beowulf is fatally wounded. According to Freud's psychoanalytic theory of personality, the superego is the component of personality composed of our internalized ideals that we've acquired from our parents and society. The superego works to suppress the urges of the id and tries to make the ego behave morally rather than realistically. Beowulf knew he was going to die. It was his duty to protect his people. When I meet the cave guard, what occurs on the wall between the two of us will turn his fate. Overseer of men decides. I am resolved. I scorn further words against this sky-born foe. For once, Beowulf isn't fighting for glory. Knowing he was the only one who could kill the dragon, he put the survival of his people over his own life. His psychological growth is complete. This battle was the moral of the poem. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. While Beowulf grew from the first two battles, the battle with the dragon was destined to happen. Living as a warrior, it would only make sense to die as one.